Today we are having an interview about Azele-Redu.
So who built this castle?
A knight named Redu de Aze and Sir Philip Augustus II built it, and it was used to protect the Tour to Chinon Road where it crosses the River Andre.
So who lived there?
Well, a lot of people lived there. And in the 16th century, the Bertholots occupied the castle. They were like the first family to occupy it.
They must have had a lot of kids.
Yeah. The castle had to be rebuilt by them. And later on, Francis I confiscated the castle in mid-build and gave it to Antonio Raffin, who never bothered to rebuild the castle fully. Through the 17th to 18th century, the Raffin's granddaughter moved in and started modernizing the Chateau de Cour along with her family. Next, it was inherited by their son Arthur and his wife Francois de Swarve. Under their ownership, Louis XIII stayed the night at the castle, and that was like the first famous visit the castle had.
That's cool.
The ownership changed in 1787, and it was sold for 300,000 livres to Marquis Charles de Biencourt, who was Field Marshal of the King's armies. He started the restoration of the chateau, but his son, Armand Francois Marie, a guard for the King Louis XVI, began the most extensive restoration of the chateau. He employed a Swiss architect, Pierre Charles Desolien. During the Franco-Prussian War, it was headquarters for the Prussian troops in that area. After the war, it was returned to the Biencourts, and financial difficulties resulted in them selling it to a businessman, Archie Artaud, and he sold all the contents and emptied it, and no one lived there after that.
Yeah, so what important events happened there?
During the 100 Years' War, the chateau was burned to the ground after 350 soldiers were executed in it, and during the Franco-Prussian War, the Prince F. Karl threatened to burn the chateau because one night at dinner, a chandelier above the dinner table fell on him, and he took it as an assassination threat, and so the soldiers had to talk him out of not burning down the castle so they could keep it around.
Yeah. So what was the chateau like?
At first, the chateau was an original medieval castle, and then once it had been restored a couple times, it was more like an Italian Renaissance castle with medieval ideas in it, but not totally.
So when was it built?
It was originally built in the 12th century, around the 1520s.
When was it finished?
The last time it was finally finished was in 1792, with many renovations in between.
When was it occupied?
For the most part, from the 16th century to the 19th century, it was occupied mostly by families.
Yeah. So how's it used today?
It's used as a historical monument, and France owns it, and you can visit it for €6.
Nice. How was it originally used?
It was originally used as a housing place for families. Usually it was people who were high up with the king and stuff. They worked for him.
And where exactly is this place located?
It's in the region Centre in the department Andre et Loire.
And what's unique about it?
Well, it has mirror ponds, and it has Italian design staircase, and it sits on stilts because of the muddy water around it, because it's on the River Andre.
And what are 3 important things?
I have to say 3 important things about this would be it's rebuilt multiple times. It got burned down, it had to be rebuilt, and it's been restored and remodeled a lot. And the French government bought it, and it is from the Renaissance time, which obviously makes it important.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time.
Okay, no problem.